Hey everyone, I'm glad we're still reading God's Word and we are still in the book of Genesis, though we're coming close to the end. And here lately we've been following the story of Joseph and his relationship with his brothers and his dad and on and on and on. And now Joseph at this point is just right one notch under the king of all of Egypt, and he has preserved the lives of many, and he has food for the Egyptian people as well as others in that area of the world. And that means that he has food for his family. His brothers have been coming down, although they do not know him, at least not yet. Listen to this right here when they finally do. Joseph, in a second trip that his brothers make to Egypt to buy food for their family so they'll be able to stay alive, he finally reveals his identity to them. So listen here. It says, Joseph said to his brothers, "I am Joseph. Is my father still living?" But his brothers were unable to answer him because they were terrified at his presence. Then Joseph said to his brothers, "Come close to me." When they had done so, he said, "I am your brother Joseph, the one you sold into Egypt. And now do not be distressed and do not be angry with yourselves for selling me here, because it was God. Because it was to save the lives, and God sent me ahead of you." That's in Genesis 45. That's like verses 2 through, is that 2? Verses 3 through 5. Now, so that's what's going on. He finally makes himself known. And listen to this. He goes on, he gives them their food, and he invites them. Insist that the famine will rage on for another like 5 years from this moment in time. And he said, "You're going to have to go get your family. Go get all of our family and get Dad, get Jacob, get Israel, and come back to me. And I will make everything possible." And so the brothers return to their dad, and they tell him everything, and he's reluctant to believe, but God speaks to Israel, to Jacob, so he will believe. It says in chapter 46, verse 2, it says, "And God spoke to Israel in a vision at night and said, 'Jacob, Jacob.' 'I am here,' he replied. 'I am the God of your father,' he said. 'Do not be afraid to go down to Egypt, and I will make you into a great nation there. I will go down to Egypt with you, and I will surely bring you back again. And Joseph's own hand will close your eyes.'" He will be reunited with his son that he loved so much. The hand of God continued to work in spite of his brother's jealousy, his father's misguided love. It was a mess, obviously, but God continued to work. The family would finally be safe together again in Egypt. And those dreams that Joseph had experienced back over in chapter 37, I think it is coming to fruition. And God is working this out. God is faithful to the promise, that not just of the dream that he gave to Joseph, but the promise he had given to Abraham all the way back in chapter 12. And God is faithful to do the same, to answer all the promises that had been given to them, Jacob and Joseph. So notice how it says that when Joseph talks to his brothers, it says, "You sold me, but God sent me." See, imagine how he come to grips, what all he would have had to work through, the emotions so strong, and the grief and the sorrow and the anguish of all those years that he had been alienated from his family and from his father in Egypt. And he said, You sold me here, but God sent me here. The faithfulness and the goodness of God. So it's just a reminder to us. We can get past the hurts with God's help. We can know that in spite of the hurts, God can bring good from it. That's what Romans 8:28 says. You look that up yourself, that God will bring good things from all circumstances if we trust in Him. Those who are called according to His purpose. Joseph was called. You and I are called to follow God and to trust in His faithfulness in spite of what anyone else says. And we can get past some of the deepest hurts that we never thought we possibly could. We could come to the same place that Joseph has with his brothers. And God is bringing out of the bitterness sweet, sweet moments like Joseph and Jacob would have together at the end of his life. A precious moment has been saved for them. We can experience these things. So I ask you, and I pray for you as I have to pray for myself, to trust God's faithfulness to bring forth the good things even in the worst times and from the worst moments of our lives. Trust God's goodness. I pray that that will speak to you today and you will read these chapters for yourself. God bless you and have a great day.